So I have just moved house, and it made me want to share a little bit of my experiences with you and give some top tips that make such a huge difference on how you can move house in a much more efficient and smooth way. So the first tip is declutter before you move, not after. Now, the second you know you're moving is the second you should start thinking about decluttering. There is absolutely no point, number one, paying for a removals company to move stuff that you don't want anyway to your new home. That's a total waste of money. On top of that, the effort it takes if you're packing yourself to pack all that stuff. And then as you're packing it, you're thinking, I don't really want this anyway, but I haven't got time to think about this right now. So actually do a proper declutter in your home. Look at your wardrobe one night. Look in some of your drawers another night. Do it bit by bit by bit by bit the second you find out that you're moving. So moving is obviously a time where you have a million things on your mind. I started a moving folder. It's so important to start a moving folder. Do not rely on your memory to do things. In that moving folder, I had a huge list of every address that I had to change, but not even addresses. Like every time I looked in my wallet and saw like a Shell card or a store card or anything like that, I would go to the list on the notes section in my phone and I would write it down. Also had in my moving folder, you know, the quotes from the removals company. I used Kiwi Removals, who were absolutely fantastic. In fact, they were the only people I was ever going to use. But if you are getting quotes, get those quotes and keep them in one place. Any other important documents that you've got, one place. I got one of the A4 boxes that I absolutely love from the holding company. They're just called A4 letterbox. And I kept all my moving stuff in there. My move took a long time. It was 6 months. Usual move obviously doesn't take that long, but you still want one little box that at the end of the day you can just slide under the sofa and forget about for the evening until you need it out again. And that's really important to be able to switch off, out of sight, out of mind, just for an evening. Another really good tip, I'm jumping to the kind of packing day here, is when you pack efficiently, pack in order. It makes such a big difference when it comes to unpacking. You know, the obvious things like pack the remote control with the TV, of course. But as a really good example, and one I always give to my clients, is the layout of your new home is most likely to be different to the layout of your old home. So gather all ornaments together and pack those in boxes instead of in the designated room that they're in. Pack photographs, little photographs, stuff like that. They may have been spread out around your house. Pack them all together. Because they will almost be the last thing that you unpack, and they're the fun bit. They're the bit that you get to put out last of all to complete your home. But again, they won't necessarily be in the same places in the same rooms. So gather those together and pack them efficiently. So I was really lucky when I moved because I had my whole team here to help me. But that's because I'm a professional organiser. But what I would say is if you're not getting organisers to help you, ask for help. Get anyone you can to help. You think people mind, but they don't mind. In fact, it's the opposite. I know that there would have been friends of mine who would have absolutely dropped everything to help me move or even help me unpack the next day. So always ask for help. Do it. If it's the one time in your life you ask for help, do it when you move. So another tip, it's an obvious one, but label your boxes in the same place on each box and label them the room and then the rough contents. The reason is when you move in, especially if you've got a family, there are going to be so many priority items that you need to unpack first. And you want to be able to glance at a box, know exactly what you put in there or what's been packed in there and unpack those first. Which leads me kind of onto my next tip, which is think about, you've got this sea of boxes in your new home. All of a sudden, you're like, what on earth, where do I start? You should always start in the room that is most important to your family. And actually, a lot of the time, that will either be a kid's bedroom or the kitchen area, because obviously everyone needs to eat. So again, you've got your clear labels and focus on those specific areas to get unpacked and get everything out on the sides, and none of this, oh, I'll put this there for now, I'll change it later. That's why I have a business, because there is no I'll change it later. 5 years down the line, you still don't have time. Of course you don't in this crazy life. to change the positioning of that. So leave it on the side if in doubt, or on a table or somewhere. Get it all out, have a good look at your kitchen cupboards, open them all up and see where everything is going to go. You know, that doesn't have to be a lengthy process. I'm not saying stare at your cupboards for 5 minutes, but have a look and see the space you have, and then start putting things away. Another really, really good tip when you're moving is to get all the boxes put on the moving van last, not first. That way, when you've got people packing the furniture first, you will not be wasting any time. You can get those boxes off the van first and start unpacking. Obviously, there's going to be some furniture that you're going to need for that, but kitchen cupboards, any fitted cupboards that you've got, you can start going and even unwrapping things, and that's a really good, efficient use of your time. So to sum it up, the little details make a huge difference when it comes to moving house. So measure things up, check things twice, make that list, brain dump constantly, and hopefully things will go a lot more smoothly than you first thought. Moving does not have to be the most stressful time of your life, as people say. For me, it definitely wasn't. And if you stick to those few tips and rules, then hopefully it won't be for you either. If you like this video, please subscribe below and give me a little like, and I will continue to give you more moving tips. And if you have any questions or you want to know any specific answers, please ask them below.